Hi, welcome to my first vlog. I thought I'd do this because I get quite a lot of questions and I feel really guilty not answering them. You know, I've got a full-time job, I'm trying to plan a wedding. I'm generally quite busy, so thought, I'd sit down for a few minutes before every kind of gym session and try to, answer some or one of your questions. And the one that I feel most guilty about not answering at the moment is, and the one that I get quite a lot actually, is I'm eating sub 1,000 calories or, a ridiculously low level of calories, and I'm exercising all the time and I'm not seeing any results. What should I do? I think the first thing that I need to say is if you're underweight, if you really are obsessing about food and exercise, if your family or friends are worried about you, if you think or you have an eating disorder, you really need to seek professional help. Like, that's a serious mental health problem, and it needs, you need to see a doctor really. Saying that, I do think you can kind of, while you're doing that, you can start to kind of re-educate yourself about nutrition, because basically, that's kind of what I did. And as we all know by now, I did this initially by doing the Body Coach, the SSS plan. For me, this was like a really good foundation in nutrition. The fact that I could eat quite large volumes of the right foods, it kind of gave me some structure and some discipline and helped to kind of change my mindset, from one that was kind of really self-defeating, to one that kind of celebrated like small achievements and kind of pushed me forward. But there are other ways. Kind of, if you don't want to do the Body Coach, if you're not looking to lose weight, or you're just wanting to tone, or you just want to kind of educate yourself about nutrition and exercise, what I do now is I track macros. I'm not a nutritionist or a fitness expert or anything, but from my very basic knowledge about things, macronutrients are your kind of basic food groups. So your proteins, your carbs, and your fats, and you also have micronutrients, which is, your vitamins and, the other aspects of food. So, you can kind of work out your total calorie intake for the day, and that's made up of your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. There are different ways to do this. One of the most popular ways is through, if it fits my macros, iifym.com. And you can go on there and there's a calculator, and it kind of helps you to work out your calorie target for the day based on your kind of activity level and everything. And that's kind of a good, and there's lots of articles on that website and stuff as well, so you can just kind of start to educate yourself. And I think for me, macro tracking has been really good because it kind of shows you that you don't need to cut out, any of the food groups. It's important, in fact, to eat fats. It's important to eat carbs, which is something that, in the past, I feel like I've spent my whole life cutting out carbs and cutting out various food groups and starving myself. So, it's really shown me that I can eat quite a lot of food and, still feel good and stay lean. There are quite a lot of plans actually which are based around macro tracking if you wanted to look into that. So after the Body Coach, I did Trinity, which is Train Eat Gain. I kind of saw maintenance on Trinity. I didn't see a huge amount of progress, but I'd started a master's, as well as working full time and planning a wedding, and that was probably not the best idea in the world. So that might have been why I didn't see much progress there. But lots of people do, and it's really popular, and it kind of gives you a good education in it. There's some other plans. I think it's RH Nutrition or RH Fitness. I don't know much about them. Sustain, I know that's another one that people use. And there are quite a lot of things out there. If you join Facebook groups, A Big Girl's Journey to Lean, I think it's the Body Coach 90-day SSS plan. I mean, even if you just wanted to ask the questions on, what kind of plans are out there. All these different plans, they appeal to different mindsets and different people. I'm obviously working with Hannah Baxter now, and she sets my macro targets, every week, every couple of weeks, and adjusts it as time goes on. I send her progress pictures and she says, actually, you need to come up a bit or you need to come down a bit, depending on, you know, what my targets are. And I found that probably the most helpful in terms of macro tracking, because she's helped me to take it a bit more seriously, helped me to realise that it does matter if you miss certain things out, and you know, I think that's something that I hadn't really understood before. So yeah, there are lots of ways to educate yourself about nutrition and exercise. You know, Body Coach isn't the only way. I do think it is a really good foundation, so you know, it's a good place to start. But yeah, I guess the main thing that I just want to put across, and you know, this is my whole reason for doing all of this, is that you do not need to starve yourself. Like, you actually don't. You know, all of those ridiculous diets that you've done, all of those, you know, all those times you've cut your calories to ridiculous levels, it's not necessary. Like, you know, you will get skinny, you will lose some weight, but you're going to put it back on. You're playing with your metabolism, and it's just not going to work out in the long term. And I know that's it's what I and what every person wants, is to, you know, find a sustainable way to stay lean, to stay fit, to stay healthy, and I feel like that's kind of what I found. And you know, I kind of want to, it's a bit cringy, but you know, I kind of want to spread that message a little bit, because I think it's quite positive and I think it's important, you know. And if I can help one girl, one woman, you know, if I can stop them from having an eating disorder like that, then it's kind of worth it for me. But yeah, if you have any questions, shoot them across. Like I said, I'm not a nutritionist or a fitness expert, but I do work quite closely with Hannah Baxter, and you know, she's really good and she's really clued up about stuff. So yeah, if you want to send any questions across, I'll try to answer them. If you ask them in the comments as opposed to a message, so that you know, other people can read them, and you know, just it helps kind of save me time. But yeah, that was my first vlog. I hope it helped someone, and yeah, I'll try and record some more. Bye.